if you have good attacking players, it's all about attacking players. Look at what happens in the NBA. Late in the game, you give the ball to the best player. So you give the ball to LeBron James, and he wins the game for you. And that's what we're missing at Juve. Remember, of course, this was pre-Cristiano Ronaldo. So Adani kind of wound him up. In fact, at the end, he actually references that. Oh, look, LeBron James went to the Lakers and didn't go to the playoffs. And now you have the LeBron James of Serie A in Cristiano. But he got nasty. And basically, Allegri said, all this talk about beautiful attacking football is it's all about theory. It's not about practice. You guys don't know about practice. And then it got a little bit nasty between the two. And Allegri was really out of sorts. In fact, Luciano Spalletti was doing his two-way for a different broadcast at the same time. While Spalletti's talking, you can hear Allegri shouting at the top of his lungs behind him. And Spalletti making a little joke. He says, ooh, if you manage to get Max Allegri angry, as Paolo says, I'm not going to be destroyed this week.
Just what is it that he ends up with saying?
What?
Allegri.
Well, he says many things. What do you?
Shut up there.
Oh yeah. He says he tells Danny, you just shut up and listen. Yeah. Danny says, go tell that to your brother. It's very un-Allegri like.
Yeah.
And Allegri went on TV the next day on a different show to explain it, and he said, sometimes there is so much pressure, and after the game, and people go and they have a go at you about all these little things, and they don't know what it's like for a manager on a day-to-day basis. I can see Allegri's side of it. I think Allegri undermines himself a little bit because he also says things like football is a stupid game for intelligent people, which seems really clever, and then you realize there's not much substance there.
Yeah, he says a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, he's a philosopher.
He tries to be, and a lot of it is kind of empty. And the other thing, undermines himself because he's the guy who said we need to dominate the opposition. He's the guy who says we need to go and take it. So if you say, I think when you correctly diagnose the problem and then you can't deliver on it, then I think it's fair to criticize.
Yeah, I mean, I watching it in real time, and I like you, and I have a lot of time for Adani. I think he says a lot of thoughtful stuff, and I thought that Allegri sort of went down this line in a certain moment of oh, you're one of those people who reads a lot of books and knows nothing, and I was like, it's not really fair about Adani. Actually, he knows a lot, and also he did play at the highest level for a long time. So
at a higher level than Allegri.
Right. So so you're not talking to me, for instance, who hasn't played professional football. You're talking to someone who knows. But at the same time, there was a point in that interview where it felt like Adani was just trying to talk over him as much as he could and provoke him. And so I think both parties were guilty of not handling themselves in the best way in that specific moment.
Do you think, does this say something deeper about Allegri and his state of mind vis-a-vis what we talked about, the disappointment? I still don't know how to read what Agnelli said, because Agnelli says, oh, he's definitely staying, we're still cycles keeps going. And then I don't know if Agnelli hasn't said anything since then, but the rumor mill and stuff in and around Juve, the reaction of fans, there's people saying, should we make a change and whatever else. Do you think Allegri's feeling this?
He's definitely feeling the pressure, because in the 5 seasons that we've seen him there, we've never seen him sort of get this angry before and just, scream. But to be very fair to him, and let's talk about this for example in England. There's been many circumstances in which certain teams have really embarrassed themselves or fallen over, and you don't feel that the managers get as much hassle as they get in Italy. And this is even if they're winning in Italy. Allegri was coming under criticism even when he was doing exceptional things.
There's no question. You're absolutely right. There's no question. There's a lot more pressure.
So I just feel like, I remember reading a column from Rzouki last year after he's won the double. Being like, it is still terrible performances. It's still relying on individual quality. When you knew very well that a penalty by Ronaldo at the very end lost it for Juventus in the Champions League. It's not like you could think to yourself, oh my God, they were so poor. But they did lose 3-0 at home. They did, and you're right about that, absolutely. But Madrid weren't exactly fascinating, and they lifted the trophy. The point is that I think what Allegri is trying to say in all of this is that I'm not against schemes, and I'm not against the way that you play beautiful football. And yes, I haven't done the greatest thing, but I'm allowed at this stage to make mistakes. I'm allowed to, for once, be given an applause, for once to be considered having done something special.
But I would argue, though, he's had a lot of applause and a lot of credit for a long time. I think it's also maybe.
I don't think he's ever had it, if I'm honest. I remember from day one they wanted him out. I've never seen.
Because from day one they were saying, "Oh, this is just Conte's team anyway." And
precisely.